So paying off debt, it's gonna sound stupid, give me a chance. Paying off debt is not just about having some money and sending it over to pay off debt, right? It kind of sounds like that is what it is, but paying off debt is also about staying out of debt. Having a system so when you pay things off, you pay them off efficiently, because a lot of folks, they pay something off, they go back into debt. They start paying things off and then they'll be like, hey, it's not going down. I'm not understanding it. I pay this, but the balance every month keeps going up and up and up. And it doesn't make sense, okay? So in this video, I'll teach you how I was able to pay off $13,000 in credit card debt in about 12 months, okay? And not just that, I paid off a total amount in my debt paying career of about $70,000, all right? So in this video, you know exactly all the techniques I used to be able to pay that off as fast as possible. And if you guys don't know me, my name is TommyBryson. If you know me, welcome back to the channel. Now, as always, do me a favor and also smash the like button. Now, the very first thing, guys, is going to be this. If you want to pay off debt, it's not just about grabbing the extra money you have left over and putting it towards debt. No, it's about budgeting and finding all the money possible to pay the debt off. And here's what I mean. You know, a lot of folks, they live paycheck to paycheck. I get paid $3,000, I spend $3,000. Next month, I can't wait for that paycheck. And if I can find $100 or $200, I'll send that over to my debt payments, but that's why you never actually finish. So what you actually want to do is you want to get a budget. The budget is going to help you find money to actually pay the debt off even faster. Here's what you want to do. You want to open up or start up right now a baseline budget. It's my little budget that I actually made up, and it's very functional and it makes a lot of sense, okay? You want to have basically, write this down. You want to have an account for your shelter costs, utilities, groceries, transportation, healthcare, and also fun. Those are usually going to be the 6 most important expenses and the ones you can't really negotiate on. But it's not just that, okay? Because that would just basically liberate you from saying, and justify because I spend so much money on rent or whatever. No. You want to limit your shelter expense to 33% of your monthly income. On top of that, utilities, only gas, water, electricity, internet bill, and also your phone bill. Your phone bill should not be more than 30 bucks per month, and your internet bill should not be more than 80 bucks per month, okay? That is it. Tell me how? I pay $6 for my phone bill. They exist. I have a video on it. The link is going to be down below. Or just search up on YouTube, TommyBryson phone bill, and you will find a video. When it comes to food, no more than $200 to $250 per person max. How do you do this? You cook at home and you don't spend money on trash on the streets. Transportation, if you have a car, make sure it's paid off. If it's not paid off, well, consider selling it because that's important. But you're only paying for gas, insurance, and maintenance, and some car washes every now and then. Those are going to be your core expenses. Then you also have health insurance if you have that. If you don't, consider it. And on top of that, you're also going to have your fun expense, okay? Take at least 5 to 10% of your money every time you get paid and have fun with it. Tommy, I'm trying to pay off debt. I don't have fun for this. I want it to be exciting every time you get paid, because you look forward to it because you get money for fun, but you also look forward to it because you're actually getting debt free. It will be slower. You can cut this out, but I highly recommend you don't, because it actually helps make the whole journey a lot more bearable. So basically, if you make $3,000, now you're only spending about $2,000 with this budget and you have $1,000 left. That's the money you're going to use to pay off debt. But obviously, I'll give you the system later. Number 2 is going to be this, guys, okay? You actually want to get extra cash for paying off debts by selling things you don't need around your home. This is the most fun I had, and it's also the most embarrassing part of this entire system, okay? Because, so if you got in value so far, I'm gonna ask for a favor. Subscribe to the channel, because only like 20% of the people that watch are actually subscribed. So go ahead and subscribe right now, because I have a lot more content. And it's also the most embarrassing part of this entire system, okay? Because for me, my identity for a long time was what I wore. The sneakers I had, the clothes I had. And when I wanted to get debt free, I sold everything. I had 23 pairs of sneakers. At the end of it, I kept about like 9 to 8 pairs. And I sold my consoles, my gaming consoles. I sold basically everything I had. And I used all that extra money to pay off debt. That's how I did it, okay? So if you can sell the things around your home and you can keep, for example, 500 or 200 bucks, that's money you're going to use to pay debt. And by the way, going back up when I told you about that baseline budget, whatever's not included in that, you obviously want to cut it out. If you want to buy, for example, something that you don't need, use your fund money to actually do it. I think that's clear, but I wanted to make it even crystal clear. Now, number 3, guys, is you want to get extra cash to pay off debt by hustling. Now, the good thing is I'm only asking you to get a job or hustle with a minimum pay of at least $15 per hour, okay? If you can't get that, then try to find something else, but I recommend like at least $15 per hour. And you might say, Tommy, I don't have the time, but you do. And here's how. You sleep 8 hours, you work 8 hours, you spend on showering, food, and driving about 3 hours a day. That's a total of about 19 hours a day. You still have a free 5 hours every single day. So if you do the math, okay, if you're able to actually make $15 an hour and you work 5 extra hours per day, like, like a hustle or whatever, the answer is about like $75 a day. Times 5, only like 5 times a week you actually do this because you rest on Saturdays and Sundays. The answer is going to be every single month, that's an extra $1,500 to pay off debt. I mean, that is awesome. That is a lot of money to pay that off. You can basically be done with 10K in a short amount of time. Just with this, okay? $10,000 divided by 1,500. That's going to be like in 6 months, you're almost debt free. That's the idea. Now, here's the 4th part. Tommy, okay, I budgeted, I sold things, I'm hustling. How do I pay the debt off? There are 2 methods. One I did, and I don't recommend. One I did not do, and I do recommend. Sounds strange, sounds crazy, but it's very true. The one I did was basically the avalanche method, okay? Avalanche method says this, okay? You want to organize your debt from the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate. You want to pay the minimum balance on all of your debts and grab all the extra money you actually have and pay the debt with the highest interest rate. Tommy, how do I find out my interest rates? You call the debt people, okay? Who do you owe money to? Call them and ask them, what is my interest rate, okay? Why did you do this one, Tommy? Because it saves you the most money mathematically because you're paying the debt that's costing you the most money, okay? Why don't you recommend it? Because it can take a long time to see progress. Because your highest interest debt could be the one with the highest balance, and it can take a long time to actually pay that off, and it can feel like you're not making progress. That's why I recommend the one I didn't do, which is basically the snowball method. This method says this, okay? You organize your debt from the lowest balance to the highest balance, not the interest rate, doesn't matter. And you pay the minimum on all the debts, and you put all the extra money towards the debt with the lowest balance, okay? That means on your first run, your first month, you can easily be debt-free on one of these accounts. You can pay something off, and you will build momentum. That's why I recommend it, because you're more likely to keep going as you're seeing progress, okay? Now, it doesn't save you money like it does, for example, with the avalanche method, mathematically, but it does build momentum, and it can get you there. And that's what I'm interested in, okay? I'm not worried about you saving money, because you'll do that anyways, but I'm more worried about you actually getting to the goal in the end, all right? So that's why I say I recommend the snowball method. Now, in the end, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, and if you make it all the way to the end of this entire journey of paying off your debt, the next question is going to be, Tommy, what do I do once I'm actually debt-free? Once I paid off $10,000 in 12 months or 6 months, you can use this whole formula, this whole strategy to pay off a lot more money, a lot less money, and a lot more time or a lot less time. Doesn't matter. But what happens when you actually get to the end goal? The answer is very simple. What I did was this. The first time around, I kept my credit cards open. I kept some debt that was actually low interest around. That was a mistake because I eventually went back into some more credit card debt, and I still had debt that I carried around like a puppy or whatever, okay? My second time around, when I paid off all my debt again, which was like last year, I paid off about $40,000 in debt. I went ahead and I closed down every single credit card I actually have. So I only deal right now on a cash basis or a debit basis, which is also just cash. I don't have any credit cards. Now, there is a benefit to this and there is a disadvantage to this, okay? Benefit is you don't have any debt. You can't go into a debt because you don't have any way of getting into debt, and you actually have a lot more peace. The the disadvantage in a sense is that you're no longer making, for example, 2 to 3% on cash back and all this other stuff. But in reality, those are just incentives for you to actually get into debt. So it's like a little hook you send to a fish and you are wishing you actually get hooked on it, okay? So I don't worry about it, okay? But for the most part, that's my system. That's how I got debt free. And that's how I was able to pay off $13,000 in about less than 12 months or so. I think it was actually like about 6 months, okay? Because I was very crazy. So yeah, there's that. Guys, good luck around your journey. And do me a favor before you actually leave this video, not just smash a like. I do want that, okay? And I do appreciate it. But it's also comment down below this, okay, guys? What method are you going to use? Avalanche or Snowball? How much money do you actually owe, okay? And how much money were you able to free up from your budget? How much money do you plan on making? And how much money do you plan on making from selling all the stuff you don't need, okay? And once you sum up all those things together, well, tell me, what's your deadline, okay? And it's very simple. It means basically if you owe about $10,000 and you have basically $1,000 to basically pay off your debt, just divided by 10, well, $1,000 basically, it means that, hey, in about 10 months, you're going to be debt free. That's the idea, okay? So comment down below, let me know. It's not just for the algorithm, although it does help with the algorithm, but it's also because I want you to leave this video with actions that you actually took and you know what you're going to do next, okay? And come back to this video in 6 months or 4 months or 2 months or 1 month when you're done with it, and I want to hear some success stories, okay? That's why I do this for, all right? So thanks for watching. As always, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified. Up here is another video, and thank you for everyone on Patreon that helps with the channel. Here you guys are. I appreciate you guys a ton. If you want to join us on Patreon, the link is going to be down below. Peace.